in the context of core AI and what they're enabling for dealers now, um, listen, there's a bunch of different types of data that you're able to access, right? Um, uh, First of all, just confirmation of who you are. Are you actually who you say you are? That's the key, most important piece right there, right? Is the information you gave me correct? Yes or no? Yes. Cool. Okay. So now the next question I'm going to ask myself, or if I'm face to face with you, are you in market? What are you in market for? We have data that we're working with Core AI that Core AI is using that we literally have a model that looks at the previous 90 days of vehicle sales, sees what the attributes are of the people who bought those vehicles because we can see the sales, right? And then applies about over 1,000 attributes to people for the next 90 days. And those people who match that get a higher score. That's part of the propensity score we were just talking about. So let's say if you're a 990, boy, go talk to this person. Go talk to this person in person, shake his hand, and put him in a car because he's about to buy a car, right? But then the next question becomes, what are you here to look at, and what should we actually try to sell you, right? So you're kicking tires on one thing, but I have some insight now into what you're actually able to afford, what your household is actually able to afford, and I'm able to guide you now. So I'm not going to walk up to you and say, yeah, you can or can't afford that. But what I can do is walk up to you and say, yeah, we'll take a look at this Tahoe, but I'm going to show you a couple different trim levels of it because I know the payment you're going to want to land on is probably a little bit less than where this one is going to land. So I'm able to have a much more intelligent one-on-one conversation with you as a result of the data that Core AI is providing. But what gets really interesting is as you use this longer term, what Core will enable is that the dealer's database, it'll almost become predictive. And what I mean by that is this guy, Sean Rains, shows up and he submits a lead, and Core bumps against what we call an economic cohort and says, oh, Sean's a J38. J38s right now for this dealership are frequently buying an F-150, right? So we're gonna he's looking at an EV right now, but we're also going to make sure he sees a couple F-150s because these guys are 3 times more likely to end up in a pickup truck than they are in a Mach-E, is the idea.
Yeah, and I think it's if you really build on that in the thinking that every dealership is unique and every dealership is a microcosm. And though you have big data surrounding all of this, every dealership's individual consumer interactions and data tells its story.